Greatest hits albums. Now I've had a stack of these pulled for a long time. Then I got to do a video on this. Then Steve from All the World Stage, he did one of the greatest hits. I go, Steve, I've been, that's what I've been trying to do, and I just haven't got around to it. So he got me going. And then on my podcast, two guys talking about records. If you go onto YouTube Radio Wasteland or Spotify, iHeart, Facebook, you'll find it there. But with Jim Gleason, I said, hey, greatest hits. I have all this stacks. We talked about them. Some people don't like greatest hits. They feel that it takes away from what the artist is trying to do. It takes, the artist has this song progression. And certain albums really don't work well for greatest hits. You think Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd isn't that's really not a band for greatest hits, unless you look at the early stuff where they were more just straight songs. But they tend to put all their stuff together. Symphonies are hard for greatest hits. They just take greatest snippets, I would have to say, of that, and you can make something happen. But for me, I love greatest hits. I have since I was very young, and it's a way for me to get the music that I hear on the radio, especially growing up. When I joined Columbia Record Club, as a teenager for 1 penny, and I got 13 albums. And a lot of them were greatest hits. Steppenwolf, I need to bring back him, as I had that. I had War's greatest hits. I need to bring that one back. Three Dog Night's greatest hits. There's some stuff on there I like. Again, it's part of the childhood. But I had, I bought this Santana. I knew nothing of what Santana was, but when I bought this, suddenly, I learned about Santana. I go, wow, this is really good. It was my first exposure to, Latin type music, and it blew me away, and really, really liked it. So this was a great album. I had this album here I bought for that penny. Sly and the Family Stone's greatest hits. What did I know of Sly Stone? Zero. Nothing. And we're talking maybe around 74 or so, 75. But it wasn't on AM radio. Sly was not being played on Nebraska AM radio out in the sticks. Believe it or not. Yeah, I know. Shockaroo, huh? But I got this album, and the horns in that, it blew me away. I said, wow, that is incredible music. This is still one of my all-time favorite albums. It's the one. Now, I have some other albums from Sly, but this is what I pull. Great stuff. Greatest hits. I picked up that. I knew of the Eagles. I knew their song. Okay, Eagles was played in Nebraska. Sly wasn't. But this put it all together for me. There it all was. This is the best-selling greatest hits album ever made. Best-selling greatest hits album. So incredible. Good stuff. Yeah, it's the one Eagles I need. Hotel California and this. The Long Road, that also, or Long Run, whatever it is, that one also is pretty good. But I have this in Hotel California, and quite honestly, I'm pretty well satisfied. This was a greatest hits. It's all we played in our locker room. Well, that and BTO, Seals and Crofts' greatest hits. Do I need any other Seals Crofts albums? I think I don't. Let's face it. A lot of times on record albums, side 1, first song, side 2, first song, your hits. And then you got the other stuff. This has every song that I can sing along with and be very happy and really not have an itch to be scratched for any more Seals and Crofts. Good stuff. Bought that for a penny. For a penny. Cat Stevens' greatest hits. He has some other cool, I used to have a variety of Cat Stevens albums because they were $1, so I would just buy them. They're not $1 anymore, a lot of them. But this is it. Now, I knew who Cat Stevens was because in choir, Cat Stevens was quite popular. Peace Train, you had to sing. You always had to sing Peace Train. That was just a big, and a few of the other. Morning Has Broken. Oh, my God, we sang that one a lot. Even in church, Morning Has Broken. All the memories. But, again, for that penny, I got that. And, you know, for that penny, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I might have bought this afterwards. What did I know Earth, Wind, and Fire? Not really much. I did. Well, actually, I did. Their hits were played on AM radio. And so they had just catchy stuff that I really, really liked. Fantastic album, greatest hits. You know, here was a greatest hits one. I saw David Bowie on TV. Really, what I knew of David Bowie, I just saw the concert on like the Midnight Special or one of those, or Don Kirshner's, I can't remember which one, and it really blew me away, the showmanship, his 1984 concert. So that got me interested, and just took care of it. Now, I do have a lot of other Bowie. That is an artist that I've collected, but not everything, and of course you have to have Bowie too. So these are things that, again, really helped. I think of new collectors, or even myself. Okay, you're starting over, right? You lost everything, you have to start over. Can you afford to buy every record from an artist? Now, how about, this group? Rolling Stones. How many records do they have? I don't know. I can't count that far. Without a calculator, do the Rolling Stones, or you could say Neil Young, or anything like that. But if you're new to collecting and you kind of, man, those Rolling Stones, a greatest hits is such a good way to go. Then you find that song that you really like. You find out what album that's on. You can decide, do I really want an album? But it saves you so much money and a lot of room. How much room does Rolling Stones, if you want to collect their whole catalog, how much room does that take? It takes up an awful lot of room. If you have limited space, it doesn't work. Greatest hits are wonderful for that. That's all these, man. I mean, it's like album after album on here, just the stuff I really like, without buying all this other stuff that I put on and go, hey, there's my hit. Maybe I'll take it off and play something else. Greatest hits, chances are I'm going to go all the way through. But Rolling Stones is just, one of these classic, albums that just says, here it is. We got all the good stuff. And this is Rolling Stones have a lot of greatest hits out there. Why? Because they keep going. So you have to put in another greatest hits and another greatest hits. But that's okay. It takes up a lot less room than buying their whole catalog. In the 70s, you'll have all these great Philly bands, Stylistics, Delphonics, the OJs. They had some fantastic hits. But oftentimes the albums were uneven, okay? Even you think of Motown. Think of Motown was a hit factory. Do you need all the albums, or do you just need the hits? It's a hit factory. That's what they even said. We are a hit factory. Greatest hits works. For me, the OJs. I had previously a number of OJ albums. What would I pull? Their greatest hits, because that's what I want to hear. That's what I want to sing along to. The other albums, they're fine, but they become just almost background music to me. I'm doing something else. But greatest hits, I tend to pay more attention. You have artists like Earl King, greatest hits. Now, I can't tell you if he ever even had a hit. I don't know, but it says the best of Earl King, so I'm guessing that's like his greatest hits. But here's an artist I know nothing about. Instead of going and buying some album, well, let's just pick out his best stuff. And if I really like it, I can seek out the other albums. The beauty of the greatest hits. Is anybody counting how many times they say greatest hits? Someone should be counting that. If we had a drinking game, there would be no one left right now. You guys would all be underneath the table. Hey, it said greatest hits, take a shot. Unless some of you really hold it well. But, yeah, I went off track. But here, it's just something, you see it out there and go, okay, I wonder what his music's like. Let's get this. Now, what can I tell you about this album? Nothing. I pulled it out and go, yeah, I should probably play that again, because I really don't remember anything about him. Bobby Gass, you can give me the input on that one. Then, here's someone I used to have almost all their albums. But after the flood, the prices went up. The prices went up, and I couldn't afford buying them all. it gets tough. But Tom Petty. I was not a Tom Petty fan at the start, but I learned to like him and really like him now. And I do have some of his albums. but I can't afford all of them. So here I'm getting what I really like about Tom Petty, putting it all together on one album, or actually a 2-album set, and it makes me happy. Now his early stuff I've bought, and I've bought a few of the other ones. That's the nice thing with CDs. Now, see, I've kind of stayed away from the CDs. Again, it comes down to room. If I want CDs, I'm going to have to put them into another room, and I'm trying not to do that. I truly am. But CDs is so tempting because they're perfect on buying back catalogs, okay? So I want the Tom Petty. I can't afford to buy it all in vinyl, but I could probably afford to buy a lot of them in CDs, and I would be able to have them. But then it comes down to this. How often am I going to put on a CD? And, it's not that often. I generally spinning vinyl because that's what's in this room. But it's just a classic case here where, okay, can't get everything. Get this. I have a group like this. I've heard of the Primitives. They have a number of albums out there. What do I buy? Which Primitive? What's the good album? I'm not sure. But then they have the best of. This helped, 2-album set. And, I was able to do, okay, now I hear what they sound like. And quite honestly, there's a lot of their albums I wouldn't buy. There's a lot of the stuff on here. It's like, it's okay. But it's sure not, isn't something I'm going to yank, pull for. Album 1 side A, pretty damn good. And then we just kind of, fizzle off for me. But this was a case that saved me money by buying it this way. Another group I like a lot, but I don't need all of their stuff, and Nazareth, and Steve from All the World States. I know Razzmatazz, Loud and Proud. Those 2 albums I really like, and I had them. Hair of the Dog I really liked. Expect No Mercy, that was pretty cool. But when I think about trying to keep my collection down, on all those albums, it was the hits that really grabbed my attention, that made me want to, that I wanted to play. This did the trick. Now, there was another greatest hits I used to have, but, this is the newer one that had more on it, because now it's 4, but it had kind of more, not so much hits, okay? Sometimes they say it's the greatest hits. Well, a lot of them aren't hits, quite honestly, but they're good, and you're happy to have them. And that's the case with this, so really good to have. I just picked this up, and I haven't even showed it on the Sunday show yet, but, the Smashing Pumpkins Greatest Hits. They came out. It's been out in CD. I used to have the CD. You can't afford Smashing Pumpkins. You can't afford to buy all of it. Even the reissues go for a lot of money. It's just really crazy how much the stuff goes. But when this came out back in vinyl, it's like, all right, that's what I need. I need Gish, Siamese Dream, this. And I got the Smashing Pumpkins that I really want to have. Am I missing out on some other stuff? Of course I am. Am I going to sleep tonight by not having it? Of course I am. You know what? My life will go on. And, without me going, gee whiz, I wish I had that. No, it won't happen. I'll put this on, and I'll be quite happy. Another one here, a band I really, really like, but I had everything in CD, the Foo Fighters. Again, would I like all their albums? Yeah, that would be neat. Would it take up a lot of space? Yeah, it would. Do I have that space? No, I don't. But here I get what I really, really enjoy about it. I can get up, I can jump around, I can air guitar to it, air drum to it, whatever the case, whatever I want to do. But I have what I really, really enjoy from the Foo Fighters. I think, White Stripes. There's a few albums of the White Stripes I want, but I got a greatest hits. That's the one that will have most everything. Yeah, there are a few other albums I do have because I really, really like. But, again, what do I play the most? Greatest hits. I'm probably missing out on all the good stuff. A Madonna, the Immaculate Collection. That's a fun word, immaculate. Has the stuff. Do I want all the Madonna albums? Absolutely, I don't. I don't mind them. She has a lot of good music on those. There's some that I do have, but this is the one I'm going to play. I'm going to play it because it has what makes me happy. It has the music that you hum to, that again, if you put on the radio, chances are you're going to hear. It's the ones that you know the lyrics, and even though you really don't know the lyrics, you just butcher the hell out of it, it doesn't matter. You think you got it right. But it has what you want, and that's a classic case there. Here's another group. I had every single one of their albums. ABBA. All of their albums. I was a big ABBA fan back in the 70s. Still like ABBA. But do I need all those albums? No, because there's a lot of crap on some of it. I'm just, this is my own honest opinion. And sorry, big ABBA fans, there's just some fluff in there that I didn't like. So this is non-fluffy. This is solid, okay? It's gold. This isn't the ABBA gold. This is just the first 10 years. Do you really need year 11 or 12? I think not. But this just has the good stuff. The good stuff. And there's really nothing I'm missing. I would say, I did buy 2 other ones. I have, the one where they're in the helicopter, and there's one other one. But for the most part, I didn't need it. And I had everything of theirs, an album and CD. Now, ta-da, does it. Yeah. Greatest hits from Urban Dance Squad. It's all I need. The singles collection. How many singles can you think of from Urban Dance Squad? Come on, think about it. Deeper Shade of Soul and wait for it, and I don't know. There's a 2-album set, man. Somehow they feel they had a lot of great singles out there. I don't know. And and it goes to even like NWA. I have no desire to get all the NWA albums. I like some of their stuff. This is what does it. By the way, Steve, All the World Stage, if you're still watching, acronym, NWA. There you go. This is an acronym. Put that on your contest. That's the only one I had there. I should have just thrown in another acronym. But obviously, if I say this, I'm going to be in trouble. So, with attitude. Okay, that's fantastic. Any of those others? Oh, shoot. Oh, well, blew that. Sorry, Steve. But there we go. Yeah. Do I need any more? No, I don't. And then you have albums like this. They put out one. It's a greatest hits. Even if they put out another one, it doesn't matter. This is the one that's the greatest hits. So that's just my passion. And again, it comes down to a couple things. It comes down to space. Trying to limit the collection, trying to limit the space you have, keeping it under 3,000. People, what? 3,000? And it is under, not by a lot, but it is under. But trying to limit my space, trying to limit, how much I'm spend, which is ridiculous because that's absolutely not working. I can buy one album worth a lot of money. But to have what I really like, what I'm going to really, really enjoy, what am I going to spin? It really is for me to have a whole bunch of a catalog where I know that whole catalog, there is 15 albums in that catalog, and the one I will keep grabbing at is the greatest hits. What's the deal with the rest of it? Except, well, I got it, so I feel good. It's like having a library of the music. I don't need it. So yeah, really as I rethunk my collection. But as you see, I started with greatest hits. That's how I began collecting. And for anybody starting new, which if you would probably be young, and if you're young, you're not watching this. But if you happen to be by accident, greatest hits is just one of the greatest ways to start collecting. It's one of the best ways to start a collection, I think. Get into it and then pick what you want. And it's even for any of us. You don't know an artist, get a greatest hits. Listen to it. See what's in there. Pick what you want. Chances are, from there, you take it and decide, yeah, I want to get into this deeper. Thanks for doing this. I was going to do this in 10 minutes, and I doubled the time. Ooh, it's a big surprise, but I appreciate that, and got a record store tour coming up on Thursday. A big surprise. Have a good week. Bye.